Hey, it's Al Calhoun with Covenant Consultant. So the question is, how do you find funding for your consulting business? The answer is you should be looking within your own means to fund your consulting business. You do not want to overextend yourself. Now, we're going to be doing some math here in this video. So you may need to watch portions of this video more than once to make sure that you follow the assumptions being made. Number two, this math is for illustrative purposes only. We're just trying to get a general pragmatic sense of the money that's available to you so you can use it to build your consulting business. So these are projections. They are assumptions. Your situation could be bigger, it could be smaller. But using this as a base, I think is helpful for you going forward. So with that being said, we want access to money that doesn't give us any unnecessary risks. We don't want to do anything ridiculous here. So we don't want to risk your retirement account. We don't want any obnoxious budgeting strategies or cost-cutting strategies. We want to avoid the debt of a bank loan. We want money that you can get your hands on immediately so that you can deploy it as quickly as possible. So the basic idea here is that you should be looking for and protecting your lump sums. So for the majority of us, our tax refund is the first place where you're going to get a lump sum delivered to you. So that's roughly $2,800. Proof of that is here on theascent.com. The average tax refund, it says it right here, the average tax refund in 2018 was $2,800. So we're going to use it as a base assumption here. So there's the tax refund. The second place where a lump sum is awarded to you is your holiday bonus. So if we look here, this website has already done the research for us. And if we scroll here, we'll find the number that according to this survey, the average holiday bonus is $858. So that's where that number comes from. So the point here is that you now have $3,600 to use to grow your consulting business. Now, for some people, that number could be a whole lot more. It could be a whole lot less. But these two places represent lump sums that come to you. So if you don't have these two opportunities, where else may you find some lump sums? So consider some additional lump sums. Your first or your next client represents a lump sum payment to you. Your sales commissions, whether you're paid quarterly or annually or weekly, however you get those sales commissions, that represents a lump sum for you. You can call in your debts. If there are people who owe you money, friends, family, businesses, whoever owes you money, call in those debts. Those represent lump sums. Now, what's also appropriate here is that there are some lump sum cost cutting that you could probably also do. For example, your Christmas spending is a place where you spend a lot of money every year. And the average cost is $942 per person. Let me show you where I got that from. Again, the research has already been done for us here. And if we scroll down the article, we'll find the data right here. That industry experts expect the average American to spend $942 per person on holiday gifts. So you're going to spend on average $942 every Christmas. So what if you cut that number in half? Or what if you at least put a limit on the amount that you spent per person that you knew, friends, families, etc., who you would offer gifts to? So every year you spend a chunk of money on Christmas, maybe you can dial that number back. Similar to your birthday. For some people, they celebrate not just the day, not just the week, but the entire month. Well, maybe it's time to dial that back a bit. And again, you can cut that number in half, or you can cut it in quarter if you think about your birthday spending differently. Or if you take one less vacation per year. There's some research here that says the average vacation costs $1,100 for one person to go on vacation. So if you don't take that vacation, that's $1,100 that is saved, right? That can be used to work toward your business. Again, maybe you can do all of these. Maybe you can only do some of these. But the point remains the same, is that there are lump sums available to you. And if you think about those lump sums differently, they can be used to fund your business. But we're going to go with the assumption of $3,600 because some combination of your tax refund and your holiday bonus can be used to grow your business. So now let's begin to do some additional math. What does this get you? So if you have $3,600, what can you do with that money? So one category here is paid advertising. Let's do that math. So if you take those $3,600, right, and you use it all on paid advertising, let's assume that you pay $2 per click. These numbers create 1,800 clicks. And let's say you send these clicks to a registration page, a lead capture page that converts at 20%. And so 20% of the people are going to register at this page, and that creates 360 leads. So what could you do in your business with 360 leads? If you called them, if you emailed them, if you interacted with them, they were on a newsletter list, what have you. What could you do with those leads? Does that give you an accelerant inside your business? Okay, what if you use that same dollar amount to sponsor an event in order to speak at the event? And so you become the guest lunch speaker, you become the main keynote speaker, you become a breakout speaker, however that opportunity unfolds. But the point here is that you pay to put yourself in front of a specific live audience. Let's say there are 20 people in the room, or 50 in the room, or 100 people in the room. This number can vary, of course, but the idea here is that you've paid this money to put yourself directly in front of your audience of choice. You explain the problem you solve, you outline how you solve it, and you ask if anyone in the room wants it solved for them. How does this approach feel to you? Let's do one more. Let's say you take that same $3,600 and you work with an agency or a firm or a particular expert to develop or execute a specific plan of action. So maybe it's just you and your expertise right now, and there's some things you'd like to do, but you don't know how. So you take the money that you have in order to get clarity and certainty on a particular plan of action. And depending on what that plan of action is, maybe you can do it yourself, or you can enlist one of these opportunities to help you do it. But you need a plan of action that you believe in. And sometimes you got to get some help building that out. So you pay for it. So you take the money you've gathered, and you go get that plan of action that you actually need. Now, all three of these concepts have one core thing in common, and please make sure you don't miss this. The reason why you gathered this money and spent it is so that you can get the next client, so you can afford to do it again and do it again. Right? And the better you get at this, then of course this number will increase, right? You'll get an even greater return on your investment. But at a minimum, you make your money back so you can keep working the process. So the reason why you get this money is not just to spend it, but to spend it on business development, to spend it on client acquisition, to get the next client, to fund the continuous movement of your business. I'm very aware there are lots of things that you could spend money on that do your ego really well. Business cards, fancy websites, fancy clothes. There's a lot of things that you could spend your money on, but they don't make this wheel happen. So I submit to you that the most important thing to do is to gather the money you currently have access to and to use it to make the money back as best you possibly can. Now, these things always look easy and instant when they're spelled out in a video like this. But in pragmatism, what does it cost you to pull this off, to make this kind of thing work for you? So are some basic fundamentals here. It's going to cost you some time. You may have to wait for your funding to arrive. If your tax refund is the starting place, is the starting funding for your business, you're not funded until the refund arrives. So it may cost you some time in order for that refund to actually arrive. Number two is that it's going to cost you some patience. You may need to add a couple of different funding sources together. You may have to wait for the first thing to come, then the second thing to come, and then the third thing to come, and then add them together before you can deploy. That's simply a matter of patience. Third is that this may require some new discipline from you. There may be some things you stop buying in the short term. You may have to think differently about your birthday, about your vacations, about your Christmas in order to build the business you're trying to build. But if you want your business to take a certain shape, if you want your business to grow in a certain way, then you've got to think about your business accordingly, and where you get the money from and how you deploy that money is an important part of the way your business grows.